So I'm here with Ryan Paris at Paris's Cap and Cork, which is also inside Gordon's Butcher and Market next to Firestone's Kitchen. You opened this place over a year ago.
Yep.
This
May
is like
5th, yeah.
craft beer and awesome wine heaven.
Yep.
Next to Meat Sweats.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty good pairing right there.
Yeah. So for this video, I wanted to come to an expert who owned his own store, his own beer and wine store, who also is inside of a butcher shop and restaurant, because it totally makes sense. If you want to put together the best beer selection for your barbecue, that you would come to someone like you.
Sure, absolutely.
Because people come to here for barbecues all the time.
Right. I mean, who doesn't want a nice cold beer while they're smoking something, right?
I do.
I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand, right?
Like the normal, everyday person coming in saying, I got a barbecue.
Sure.
What beer selection should I have to totally blow away my guests, let alone the food? Like say the guy sucks at cooking. He knows he sucks.
He needs something.
He needs some good beer
gotcha.
to help wash down the char that he's going to serve everyone.
Sure. Yeah, we can definitely do that here. From a barbecue standpoint, there's usually about 3 questions that I ask. What you're actually barbecuing, what type of sauce you're using, if it's like a sweet or a spicy, and then what's the temperature outside? Like, because I mean, like you want something that's, you know, thirst quenching on top of it, but you never want to mix same flavor profiles together. Those kind of help me narrow it down when I'm walking through the shop. I mean, the shop's not overly big, but at least I can kind of break it down into categories, so I kind of know where to go instead of wasting our time going down a road that we might not need to go down.
How many beers would you say you have here?
Right now, I believe our last count was 174 different beers that are in the cooler. You know, ranging from a gazillion different IPAs to sours and stouts and barrel age, you know. On the wine aspect, I think we're right at that 130 different bottles. So we have a much larger capacity to handle more, but we like to kind of like specialize it. So at this point, we're at a comfortable number.
How many beers do you know to get? Number like individual cans or bottles? Like for like every 10 people, you know what I mean?
I mean, how do you know, like when you're getting into those bigger IPAs, usually two a person is quite a bit.
8-9%.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. You know, I mean, there's a lot of calories that are involved with that. So, and you don't want that to overpower what you're doing on the grill either way. So, you know, it just depends. I mean, if you're doing chicken wings and stuff, and we're doing a light pilsner or a lager, I mean, you could do 3-4 beers a pop, you know, with each person. But the heavier stuff, you kind of want to back it down just because it's almost like a meal in itself.
Right.
So, you know, and I prefer eating food, you know, a little bit more than drinking the beer. But you know, I mean, I've had a few IPAs in my day too. So
yeah, you know. A few. I'm gonna follow him around with the camera, and he's gonna pick out beers for the ultimate barbecue. Like if you really want to impress your guests, this is a selection that you want to go with for your barbecue.
We'll start off with like the chicken wings, anything like chicken or seafood. That's usually considered a lighter option. At least in the meat market, it's lighter. So you kind of want to stick with, you know, anywhere from a light lager or a pilsner, just something light, easy drinking. Even a Hefeweizen, that's probably a good option. As long as you're not using a sweeter sauce. Never want to go sweet with sweet. So, you know, I got a couple options like that for you here in the cooler. I'll take you kind of over there and show you. So you can go ahead, like, you know, we do have our basic, you know, our trusted brands of like a summer shandy. If you're doing like a summer Hefeweizen or a summer Sam Summer is another option. Just a super refreshing ale. It's a wheat based, just nice, easy drinking. Won't over compromise the food that you're grilling.
Will that go good for like the young heads and the old heads? Like
yeah, it will. It'll hit both aspects for you,
Yeah.
for sure. It's usually a crowd pleaser. People are comfortable with that brand because it's a national brand. The product's just, it's there for the summertime. So just a good option. When it comes to like a chicken or a seafood, whether it be a lager or like it would have to be a super light IPA in order to get kind of to balance everything out. But this one, this Mo Master, is really cool beer from Ellicotville Brewing. It's a summer hoppy IPA, but this thing comes off so smooth that you won't even notice it. So you can kind of take a leap into the craft world with this beer and not feel that you're going to be overpowered either way with an IPA.
That's a good suggestion. Like a lot of people think IPAs, especially
They're afraid of
like
it.
my dad, he doesn't even know how, like the full name of them.
Yeah.
He calls them IPs for some reason.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't stand those IPs.
Yeah, right, right. So yeah, normally people are afraid. They think hops. They think that their palate's not ready for that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these beers are just nice and light and easy on the palate, and they're just not overpowering. So
Yeah.
So if we go into the next level,
What about like spicy chicken wings? Like I like to cook like grilled, like
yeah,
super
if,
spicy
if you're
wings.
using anything with heat or spices, I would do more of a fruit-forward beer, which would be right in your line with your Hefeweizens. Okay. We do have usually blueberry wheat's a nice beer. That Schofferhofer is a really nice one. It's a pineapple version, and I can open it up for you. This style beer here will definitely cool down any spices that you have going on.
It's a beautiful
in your
color.
grill. Nice color. Again, you probably don't want to drink too many of these because it's going to be more like a dessert, you know?
Oh, okay.
For me personally, I can get about 2 down. And then I have to move on to something else just because it's too sweet. But
Yeah.
that's what you want to do with spicier items. You just want to balance it out. Your next line would be that middle of the road, medium style food, which would be a pork or pork shoulder or pork rib rack. That's when you can start diving into the IPAs a little bit more. You want to still set in that like 5.0 to 6.5 ABV, sessionable, crushable IPAs, so it's not overpowering. And we have lots of those. If you're getting the IPAs, that's kind of where you want to jump into the pool at. A staple here is beer from Lavery.
This is my favorite IPA.
This thing, they can't miss with it. It's
No.
automatic, it's a 5.6 ABV, really easy drinking, not overpowering by any means, not overwhelming, and you're not intimidated when you drink it, and you know what's in the can every time.
It is my favorite, just all around IPA.
Yeah,
I've never had a better.
It's
Just
good
I'm
on
just gonna
draft.
drink it.
It's
Yeah.
good in a can. Like
Yeah.
I mean, you can pour it in a bowl. It's
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean? It's legit. You know, New Trail's a nice brewery out of Williamsport, PA. You can usually count on them for about 2 or 3 IPA releases a month, and usually they hover in that hazy 6.5 range. They do have doubles and triples, but they are a group that you want to stay with. You can't go wrong with a New Trail product.
It's true. Yeah.
Right now in my cooler, I do have doubles of their stuff, so it might be on the heavier side for the pork, but when you get into like a ribeye or a full body steak, you can kind of jump down that wormhole there if you want
Those are
to.
my favorite. The doubles and triples. That's where I like to live.
Yeah, you know, and, you know, your ABVs are anywhere from 7 to
10.
you know,
Yeah.
and you can get some that you don't even know, you don't realize it's a 10. It's
No.
so easy drinking.
Been
but
there.
after 2, you're like,
Holy
take my
smokes.
keys. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
want to stand up. You know. So, Fatheads. It's the IB Yusuf, another solid brewery, pretty local. They're close to us, out of Cleveland, I believe. And I tell you what, like, they make some really good beer. If you're gonna have like a really stellar night and you want to show off your grilling talents, you want to jump into the ribeye family or strips or Wagyu or tomahawks like Chef does all the time, you can go really in on some beer. So you can get rather aggressive. That's when you kind of open up to the doubles and triple IPAs. You can open yourself up to a porter, stout, barrel-aged stuff. So I got a lot of cool stuff out of Full Pint, Pittsburgh. These two are really cool. There's a white stout and then a Pennsylvania stout. The bitterness is at an 18, so it's not too shabby. 6% alcohol and 7% alcohol. They're doable. They're not like a barrel aged, but they give you that dark, smoky flavor to them. You can get into a New Trail, which is their new Baltic Porter. So again, they're gonna have some coffee and vanilla flavor to it. This beer comes in at about a 5.5, so it's not overpowering with the alcohol. But again, that smokiness, that more candy-ish, chocolatey-ish, if that's even a word, flavor to it, that profile is gonna happen with this type of beer. So you don't want to drink too many of these because this is a meal in itself. So you want to be careful with that.
But a good compliment.
Yeah.
If you haven't already had 10 beers at the barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that might end your night. And if you really want to do something cool, I'll take you over to this beer. This is a Founders Barrel Age series. So if you really want to top your night off, this is the old 10%er. This is an Imperial German style, and it's aged in bourbon barrels. This beer, Founders makes some really, really good, exceptional barrel-aged beers, and they have a barrel-aged series. This one's new just because it's an Oktoberfest beer, but this thing would go well with any heavy item that you got going on the grill. If you want to impress some people, you're going to want to bring that one.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy because you're on this side. I feel like it should be the opposite way, but we're good. You.
So, all right. Well, thank you for this. Thanks for taking the time. I need to buy beer for the next video that I'm shooting. So I'm going to go buy beer, and you guys stop into Paris's Cap and Cork if you're in the Erie area, or if you're just passing through, be like, oh, Erie, I should go to Paris's Cap and Cork and Gordon's and Firestone's because it's all there, and it's like going to a laundromat and having a bowling alley, arcade, and bar all at the same time. You can do your chores and drink and have fun.
Why wouldn't you want to do that? Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, man, thanks.
All right, brother. Good to see you.